It was a gray Wednesday in Chicago, the kind where the city felt wrapped in a soft, steady mist, the kind of day that passes quietly, without urgency or fanfare. My boots squelched through shallow puddles not nearly suited for the weather. A mutual friend had arranged for a few of us to meet for lunch at a bustling corner diner in Lincoln Park. The air inside hummed with the clatter of plates and the chatter of strangers. Amid the swirl of noise and motion, my gaze kept drifting to him, Evan. He wasn't the loudest or the most polished in the group, but his laughter, raw, easy, unfiltered, carried warmth that drew people in. He didn't flirt or perform, he just listened, genuinely, as if each word that left my mouth mattered. When I mentioned my dog, he remembered her name. A few days later, a text arrived, a photo of a small golden retriever keychain, and a simple note, "This made me think of you." It was such a small gesture, yet it stirred something in me. Still, I brushed it off. Not because I wasn't drawn to him, I was, but because I didn't trust myself to feel that kind of softness again. I had just walked away from a relationship that had burned bright and faded slow, leaving behind only exhaustion. Love, in my recent memory, had been heavy, work, something to survive. Then came Evan, patient and sincere, the kind of man who didn't push or pry. He'd text to ask about my day, share a song he thought I'd like, or send a picture of the lakefront on his morning walk. Never overbearing, just there. Eventually, I said yes to dinner. We met at a small bistro near Wicker Park, the kind of place that smelled of roasted garlic and fresh basil. He held the door, pulled out my chair, silenced his phone without me asking. Everything about the night felt natural, effortless. And somehow that was what scared me the most. I'd grown used to love feeling uncertain, to walking on eggshells, to fighting for crumbs of affection. Evan's calm steadiness unsettled me in ways I couldn't explain. We kept seeing each other. Long walks, quiet coffees, random Tuesday dinners that turned into hours of conversation. But I kept my walls high. When he asked personal questions, I deflected. When he reached for vulnerability, I met him halfway and then pulled back. He noticed, of course he did. One evening, as we walked back from dinner, the city lights glowing in puddles beneath our feet, he stopped. "You don't have to guard yourself with me," he said softly. "I'm not here to hurt you." I smiled weakly, unable to meet his eyes, because the truth was, I didn't believe anyone who said that anymore. A few weeks later came the night that ended us. He'd chosen a rooftop bar downtown, twinkling string lights, jazz floating softly through the air, the skyline stretching endless in gold behind him. He asked about my week. I told him about deadlines and office drama, and he listened like it was poetry. Then, in the quiet between songs, he leaned closer and said, "I really care about you, you know?" For a moment, my chest ached in the best and worst way. Then panic rushed in. I laughed too quickly, reached for my wine, stared at the skyline. "You're incredible, Evan," I said, trying to sound light, "but I'm just not ready." He blinked, just once. Then his expression softened into something I'll never forget, a mix of hurt and understanding. He nodded, managed a faint smile, and signaled for the check. No protests, no drama, just quiet acceptance. When the bill came, he paid, stood, and said, "Take care, okay?" And then he was gone. I sat there staring at the empty chair across from me, whispering to myself that I'd done the right thing, that he deserved someone unbroken, someone unguarded. But deep down I knew I hadn't protected him. I'd protected myself.
That night, I scrolled through our old messages, the dumb memes, the late-night check-ins, the soft goodnights. Every word felt like sunlight I'd turned away from. Days passed, then weeks, then months. My phone never lit up with his name again. I dated other people. Some made me laugh, some didn't. But no one ever made me feel safe. And I realized then that safety, real, quiet, consistent safety, is rare. It's not boring. It's sacred. One chilly afternoon in late autumn, I was walking out of a grocery store when I saw him, across the street, hand in hand with someone new. She was shorter, with soft curls and an easy smile. She looked at him like he was home. He looked lighter, unburdened, and happy in a way I never let him be. I froze. For a second, I almost called his name, but then I stopped. Because I knew he'd found someone who chose him fully, without hesitation. Someone who didn't need more time to decide. Sometimes we don't lose people because they stop caring. We lose them because they realize we'll never love them the way they love us. And maybe that's the quietest heartbreak of all. Not being left, but being the reason someone learns to stop waiting. So if you ever find yourself across from someone who sees you, really sees you, and your instinct is to retreat because it feels too calm, too real, don't. Stay. Because saying, "I'm not ready," often means, "I'm scared," and saying, "You're incredible," can be the first note of goodbye. I told Evan he was incredible. I told him I wasn't ready. He smiled faintly, paid the bill, and walked away. And this time, I know, he never looked back.
If you've ever been betrayed or faced heartbreak, you're not alone. Subscribe to Cheating Secrets for real stories of love, betrayal, and resilience. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss a story that could change the way you see relationships.